it that Nnamdi Kanu is from the north or from the southwest, we will not be here today. They are doing him because he's from Igbo. Nobody should touch me. Allow me to express myself. So Nnamdi Kanu is suffering this thing because he's an Igbo. He's from southeast.
And that report, the kernel of that report is actually to advise the Nnamdi Kanu trial or continuation of trial and whether it deserves to be transferred to a hospital, i.e. the National Hospital. So that report was not in. So for that reason, the prosecution made a motion, an application to adjourn the matter to another date, and the judge granted the application and adjourned the matter to 16th October.
So on the issue of medical counsel, yesterday medical counsel sat on the issue that has to do with Professor Aj. And when I got the information, I went to that place because I've written a petition against the DSSS doctor, the one that never examined Nnamdi Kanu, and wrote a report. That was a couple of years ago, and nothing happened. Then I also wrote another one against the doctor that never examined Nnamdi Kanu, but had the audacity to depose 37 paragraph affidavit, countering the report of Professor Aj. But surprisingly, they left to my own petition and treating another issue. And when I confronted them with it, so they succeeded in intimidating me and harassing me with a petition against me at the LTDC. But that one is a different ballgame altogether. Now to the president, Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please, as a matter of urgency, direct Attorney General to discontinue this funny charge. This charge is embarrassing Nigeria the more, and the more they keep on applying for adjournment. I know that they must have advised you, telling you that they don't have a case. I heard them saying. So in order to protect the integrity of Nigeria, please allow them to discontinue this particular charge, and then so that Nnamdi Kanu will continue with his agitation. And the rest of those issues that gave rise to the agitation, everything will calm down. Anything short of that, if Nnamdi Kanu is released, is expected to continue with the agitation. That is the naked truth. There is no going to happen. Not those people that are dancing around you, praising you. They are deceiving you. They are making your government unpopular. We are the people that are helping your government, telling you the truth. Attorney General will not tell you the truth, of course. No, don't touch me. Attorney General will not tell you the truth. We are the people that will tell you the truth. They don't have a case against Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, you know that Nnamdi Kanu is from the north or from the southwest. We will not be here today. They are doing him because he's from Igbo. Nobody should touch me. Allow me to express myself. So Nnamdi Kanu is suffering this thing because he's an Igbo. He's from southeast. Those of you that are in the House of Assembly, Senate, bench warmers, will watch what is going on. At the appropriate time, we will tell you people that yes, the masses are watching you. Thanks and have a nice day. Yeah.
Very excited to be here as always, even though as usual the DSS prevented me from entering the courtroom. But I'm a living witness to history. The first time my Mazi was abducted from Kenya and brought here, I was in court to warn them that in fact I was one of the few people that came here as soon as they did their kangaroo arraignment, that this case is not going anywhere, and that there's no way, it doesn't matter how long it takes, it's going to end up the way it started, as nothing, and it will end up as nothing, because there's nothing that can stand up on nothing. The foundation of this was malice. It was the suppression of a section of Nigerian people and the violation of the fundamental right of a Nigerian British citizen who was abducted from another country, brought here without due process, and detained indefinitely.
I've listened to the court appearance of Nnamdi Kanu today, and listened to the representations made by his lawyers, and which to say that I want to be part of any peaceful demonstration in Abuja or anywhere in Nigeria for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I personally reached out to Barrister Lawyer Jimako long ago, telling him that I would want to be one of the witnesses, defense witnesses to Nnamdi Kanu. Recently, just about last week, I reminded him of my desire to be one of the defense witnesses to Martin Nnamdi Kanu. You can ask Lawyer Jimako. I told him. So, for this new development, I want to be part of it. I'm ready to go to Abuja or any part of Nigeria where such demonstrations will take place. I will be part of it, provided it is anchored on non-violence, peaceful protests. I will be there, and I mean it. I will personally be there. This is not all about Nnamdi Kanu. This is about Igbo. If anybody thinks that Nnamdi Kanu is being humiliated today, no. It's Igbo that are being humiliated. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. There's nothing like terrorism, this and that. Nothing like that. When my men were being killed in the streets of Southeast, were they terrorists? What did they do? When Nnamdi Kanu, when Aguocha was declared to be arrested by DSS, simply because he said he supported Uwazuruike, he was given a one-way ticket, economic class, to Abuja. What did he do? It was just to humiliate Igbo by commanding our leader, Aguocha, to proceed to Abuja on a one-way ticket, economic class. So all these things, I know them very well. It has got nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. It has to do with Igbo. To tell us that we don't matter in Nigeria and that we could be treated anyhow. If you talk of terrorism charge or whatever, how can you be negotiating with terrorists from another tribe, one tribe, and keeping into prison terrorists from another tribe? Where's the justice? So it has nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. It has to do with the injustice rooted in Nigeria against Igbo. That is why I will be there. That's why I will be there. It could be anybody else. It could be anybody else. It has nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. It has everything to do with Igbo. The situation of Igbo in Nigeria, the humiliation of Igbo in Nigeria, and everybody is affected. We have to do this because of the future of our children. I will be there. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this is not politics or any other thing, but it is a fundamental human right that should be ascribed to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Most other people in that gap have been given opportunities to even travel overseas to seek medical attention. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is neither convicted of any crimes in Nigeria and must be protected under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, Mr. Speaker, a lot of progress has been made in order to see that the government does the right thing to be able to afford Mazi Nnamdi Kanu the urgent treatment that he needs. It's significant, Mr. Speaker, if otherwise.
My dear honorable colleague.
Yes, sir.
I do not see where your privilege is conflicted here.
I have not received a letter that I wrote to the Speaker. I'm a member of the House, and my office deserves a response, whether it's positive or not. But as a member, and the letters were received by your office on the 27th of August, right here.
Is the letter you wrote to Mr. Speaker's office just a notification?
Not a notification,
or a demand for a certain action to be taken?
Yes, we requested for a certain action, which was to intervene in the medical condition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whom is now, his health condition is deteriorating.
If it is something specific to the office of the Speaker, Honorable, I find it a little bit intriguing that you will come by way of a privilege to demand action to be taken.
Mr. Speaker, the letter
office
was written.
Of the Speaker that you have direct
Mr.
access
Speaker,
to.
the letter was written since August 26th.
You have direct, unfettered, honorable,
yes, sir,
unfettered access to my office. This is not the kind of thing that I would expect that would come by way of privilege.
It is a matter of privilege.
If it is something beyond you, from the outside, but if it is something that is a letter written to my office, you know, a phone call from you, a visit to my office can solve the problem. So I don't think if
Mr. Speaker, I've been to your office, Mr. Speaker.
So you mean
I've
you
also
have
submitted the
explored
letter,
all
Mr. Speaker.
options and opportunities? You couldn't see me except here.
I've come to your office, Mr. Speaker. We just resumed today.
I don't think
We
this,
just resumed today,
this
Mr. Speaker.
request
And it's very important, Mr. Speaker.
Please, Honorable,
Order, please.
Honorable, please.
Please be
step
guided.
it down because it is not the right thing to do.
Yes.
Please, I beg you. Step it down.
Please be guided.
Mr. Speaker, it is
Please
a
be
matter,
guided.
Mr. Speaker, it's a matter of life and death.
Please,
My constitutional right
please
is
be
at
guided.
stake.
I
And
am trying to tell you the
attention of
procedure.
the House, Mr.
This
Speaker.
is not right. Step it down and
Please.
see me if you want any action concerning any letter you have written to me. You don't need to
Mr.
go by way
Speaker,
of this.
the House
please be
rules,
guided.
excuse me, sir. The House rules allows me the latitude to bring an issue of privilege to this House and to the attention of Mr. Speaker. And it is important, Mr. Speaker,
It
that this
is
House
only when your
takes
privilege
cognizance
is
of
compromised
the issue of Nnamdi
tonight
Kanu.
that you can bring it up.
And
And I thought that particular position is talking in respect of instances where the issues is beyond your control. But this is not what a letter from you to from yourself to me.
Yes, sir. The
When
letter
you
is
have
here.
as a member
Mr. Speaker.
direct access to come to my office and seek for explanation.
Mr. Speaker,
Why?
I've been
Why
to
do
your
you have to
office.
go through this?
I've been to your office to
You are arguing with the Speaker.
Please.
Excuse me, sir. Can you read the order book, Rule 6 and subsection 2, to know that I also have the right?
Honorable,
Yes,
please,
we do, but
please,
you
you
are
are ruled out of order. You are ruled out
don't
of order.
shut
You
me
can sit
down.
down, please.
I have to. You are ruled out of order, please. Listen to the government.
Mr.
Listen to the
Speaker,
government, please.
Mr. Speaker,
Okay, the announcement.
we will present it before the House properly in the course of the week. I understand the pain in the heart of the representative with regards to the subject matter of Nnamdi Kanu. But we'll come properly before the House so that proper hearing will be given to it. I beg that you give us the audience, maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow, we'll come to present it again.
No problem at all. It's just the procedure that I was challenging, not the substance of the issue.
No problem.
I will be willing and ready. Anytime you are ready to bring up the matter,
Thank
we
you.
will do the needful and give you all the time to present.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're welcome.
Once again, uproar in courts as Nnamdi Kanu bursts out again. Sowore calls for nationwide protest. Aguocha shunned in the lower chamber. Uwazuruike to also join the protest for Nnamdi Kanu's release. And a whole lot of baggages will be going through today. Come with me as we step this down. It was actually a yet another tense and emotional day at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the detained leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, appeared for the continuation of his trial. The courtroom atmosphere was heavy, charged with frustration, pain, and raw emotion as the long-standing legal battle took yet another dramatic turn. But at this time, I must be sincere. Nnamdi Kanu's look was something else. If you could actually, look closer, you would understand what I mean by this. And once again, this is about perspectives, your domain for undiluted news and raw political analysis. Today's report captures the full details of the courtroom uproar, Kanu's latest outburst, and the growing cause for his release, from all quarters. We talk about the Sowore, Honorable Aguocha, and many other political figures across Nigeria. Moving swiftly to the main story, as proceedings began on October 8, 2025, tension filled the courtroom when Nnamdi Kanu, visibly weak and frustrated, raised his voice once again in open protest. According to eyewitnesses, Kanu lamented the continued delay in his trial and the federal government's refusal to grant him access to, proper medical care. And believe me, that is something that has become a central issue in this case. And for real, his tone was one of despair, anger, and exhaustion, the worst of a man who feels abandoned by justice. Now, what is the legal update? The prosecution during the session urged the court to adjourn ruling on the motion concerning Nnamdi Kanu's health. Could you imagine? Imagine they argued for more time, a move that his defense team immediately objected to, saying it was another deliberate attempt to frustrate justice. One of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Barrister Maxwell Okpara, passionately argued that his client's deteriorating health should not be politicized, stressing that Nnamdi Kanu has not been found guilty of any crime known to law and therefore deserve basic medical rights under the Nigerian and international law. And my question is, even if he's been convicted, he still have a right for medical treatment, so long it is not something that guarantees immediate execution. Okpara went further to allege ethnic bias in this regards, claiming Kanu is being treated this way simply because he's an Igbo man. This statement sparked murmurs across and deepened the political debate about ethnic fairness in Nigeria's justice system. Meanwhile, activist Sowore has also thrown his own weight behind the call for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Sowore, known for his fearless advocacy, is now mobilizing a nationwide protest, urging prominent political figures, including P2B, Atiku Abubakar, and Southeast governors, to stand up and demand justice for Kanu. He described the situation as a test of conscience for Nigerian leaders, insisting that even prisoners of war are entitled to medical care. I mean, that is obviously true. Talk less of someone who has not been convicted of any crime. According to Sowore, the date for the protest will soon be announced, but the message is very clear: enough is enough. But the question is, would the Southeast political figures actually come out to embrace this call? Because this is actually a welcome one, and I think something could be done. In a related development, tension also spread to the National Assembly, that is the lower chamber, as Honorable Aguocha, representing Abia Federal Constituency, attempted to raise a motion concerning Nnamdi Kanu's deteriorating health on the floor of the House of Representatives. Aguocha, who spoke passionately about the need for the urgent medical attention for Kanu, was reportedly shunned by several lawmakers, with murmurs and interruptions, citing short with his presentation. Of course, you could see that at a point his mic was actually turned off. Despite these resistances, he maintained that Kanu's right to life and health supersede every other political sentiment, stressing that the issue is, of course, humanitarian, not even political. His intervention has since sparked a wave of reaction across political and social cycles, with many questioning why a call for medical attention should be treated as a taboo in a democratic setting. This incident reflects the deep political tension and division surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's detention, not just in the streets, but even within the corridors of power. Former MASOB leader Uwazuruike also lent his voice, expressing solidarity with Nnamdi Kanu. Despite their, of course, past disagreements, Uwazuruike stated that the federal government's treatment of Kanu has, crossed moral lines, citing also ethnic bias. He vowed to join the Abuja protests being organized by Sowore, declaring, "We may differ in methods, but injustice to one Igbo man is injustice to all." That whatever Kanu is facing today, whichever way Kanu is being treated today, is obviously to what every average Igbo man is facing in Nigeria. This surprising show of unity among Igbo voices signals a renewal call for justice and compassion. Talking about Nnamdi Kanu's, health concerns, from recent court appearances, many observers say Nnamdi Kanu's health appear to be rapidly deteriorating. Of course, you could see a lot of abnormalities, the way he walks and all that. His physical look weak, pale, and emotionally exhausted. This has also raised fears that if urgent medical intervention isn't granted, Nigeria could face a human rights tragedy. And that is not going to be easy at all, because we need to be sincere to ourselves. If anything happens to Kanu today, I do just ask myself, what would be the fate of Nigerian people? Because it's not just going to be, both nationally and internationally, it's just going to be an obvious shame. Even in court, some observers were also heard whispering, he looks like someone who could give up the ghost if nothing is done fast. Now let me tell you, the urgency is now beyond politics. It's about humanity, fairness, and justice. I mean, Kanu has every right to, his own personal medical practitioner. So, in summary of this, prosecution is actually seeking adjournment on medical ruling, and this is obviously seen as many as a delay tactics. Why are they even risking this? You are seeking for an adjournment on ruling on health of someone that you see that is already giving up a ghost. That is really a problem. Secondly, the defense team says Kanu's health crisis is being ignored, urging immediate action to be taken. Sowore calling for nationwide protests involving top political figures. Uwazuruike declares support, condemning justice against Igbo. Aguocha, of course, courageously speaks in the House in the lower chamber, shunned by colleagues but stand firm. Then public mood, growing anger, empathy, and renewed unity in the Southeast and beyond. I just wish this action, this call, this demonstration, this expression of humanity is being, sustained till something is done about this man's detention. Of course, to his out, it is quite obvious that a lot of things are going on. So the case has now been adjourned until 16th of this month, that is October 2025. And like I do say, Kanu's case is entirely, because I see a lot of people saying all manner of things, but the obvious truth is that Kanu's case is entirely something that can never be, settled within the face of justice or judge, whichever way. It's not going to be possible. His case is entirely political, and politically it can be solved. And of course, at the end of the day, the question remains, how long will it take for justice to find its way through the fog of politics? Because in as much as this is political, it is still going to be more difficult to be solved even. Whether you support or oppose Nnamdi Kanu's ideology, his right to medical care and fair trial should never be negotiable. Justice delay, as they say, is justice denied already, and Nigeria cannot afford to keep repeating this cycle of selective compassion. As the protest room and voices rise, one truth stands tall: the world is watching. This is what I don't know if they know about. And as always, of course, this is about perspectives. I will continue to bring you undiluted news and raw political analysis, where truth speaks louder than politics. And of course, the reportage that the mainstream media cannot give to you. Your trusted domain for undiluted news and raw political analysis. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to smash the like button, leave a comment, share, and subscribe for more raw reportage. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next update.